Hey Rockstars, I'm JB, expert salesperson and master presenter.
I'm the doctor, psychologist, and behavioral expert.
This is the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast.
We're high-performance coaches that help service-based professionals and entrepreneurs take their skills to the next level.
70% of entrepreneurs fail, which is why every week we have real talk with real entrepreneurs to help ensure you are not one of them.
We're also the inventors of the Be Rich mindset,
where we rise to mastery,
inspire greatness,
celebrate knowledge,
and help others along the way.
So join us in the lab.
And now, on to the show.
Hey Rockstars, welcome back to the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab. I'm JB.
I'm the doctor.
If this is your first time joining us, whether it's on YouTube or on the podcast, welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure by the end of the episode, you go ahead, you like, subscribe, follow, give us some love, give us a 5-star review. We want to impact and influence more people. And so we could really use your help.
And to double down on that, just how important that is for us. We say that at the beginning of every podcast, but especially on YouTube, there's like metrics that you hit, and we're so close to one of those metrics. So if you can give us that follow and subscribe on YouTube, we'd really appreciate it, because it opens up the whole world differently for us. So really asking this time.
Yeah. And for any of our returning listeners and viewers, thanks for coming back. I can't believe it. We love you guys and you girls. You are all awesome. We really do appreciate you and super excited to be able to continue doing this and have some great guests join us. I got to stop for a moment, though. I got to give a major, major shout out to my man here, the doc, who just happened to be featured recently in a Miami magazine.
Infamous. I mean, famous, or no, infamous was right.
Tell us about the feature, man.
That's pretty cool. I just checked in, gave some quick tips on work-life balance, something I work a lot with people on, and they asked a little bit about us. You even got a shout out, JB. I was nice enough to throw you a little bone. And it was really cool because I got to shout out a lot of locals, businesses, and people that I know in local businesses. One of the questions was, what would you do in the area if someone new is in town? So it was Shout Out Magazine, funny enough. So I got to shout out some people. It was really cool.
I think it's well deserved, man. You work hard, you put a lot of effort in, you do a lot of good in the community, and I know you work with a lot of business owners, as part of JB and the Doc, as well as on your own. So really nice to see you featured in something like that. Speaking of featured, we have an absolutely awesome guest joining us today from 26 North Productions, Maxence Doytier. Maxence, come on in, man. What's up?
Top of the morning. What's up, gentlemen?
Hey, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us in the lab here. We love having you. I know we've been talking about this for a while, so this is way overdue.
Thank you for the opportunity to chop it up on a nice Friday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is pretty cool. You're local here with us in the South Florida area. We love what you do, but most of our listeners and viewers probably haven't had a chance to meet you yet. They don't know anything about you. So do us all a favor. Just share with us a little bit about who you are, what kind of business you run, and just give us a little taste.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maxence Doytier. I'm the creative director as well as art curator for 26 North Productions. We are an art agency in South Florida. And we also commit to avant-garde event production. Pretty short and sweet there.
It sounds very fancy too. I love that intro.
So what does that actually mean? Like, what is art agency? Like, what is event production? Like what does that mean? Like,
doesn't matter at this point. It sounds fancy. I'm in.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man, that's what it is. Ask away though. I've got all answers.
All right. So let's kind of jump into it. I mean, what does it mean? You're art curator, you're creative director. Really, what's that encompass? And what's 26 North? Really, what kind of role do they play in the community? What kind of business is it that you're in?
Yes. So as an art curator, we help facilitate art shows and exhibits, working with local as well as emerging undiscovered artists in South Florida. We also mix that in with global and international artists. And so kind of combining forces, we're giving artists a platform to showcase, highlight, facilitate art opportunities. A little bit more specific, we'll take an artist who will paint a canvas, and he'll go from painting a canvas, and we'll give him an opportunity to start painting a mural on the side of a building. That's just one small example of opportunities that we provide.
Now, this is a big deal down here in South Florida. I mean, you've got entire neighborhoods that are just known for the murals that they have out there, whether it's Wynwood or you even kind of look towards Fat Village over here in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, there's some serious neighborhood art going on. So you're saying you got a hand in some of that. That's kind of the world you're playing in today.
Definitely. So South Florida, there's a lot of opportunity all over the state of Florida, but primarily for the arts. Miami is an international hotspot for the arts. Miami Art Week, Art Basel, that happens once a year. We're lucky enough to be in the next county north, and so I would consider that a flow over from what happens in Miami-Dade, flows over to Broward County, and even in West Palm as well.
Yeah, so if you're local here, I mean, you can't help but see some of this stuff. There are some really cool murals out there. How many have you kind of had your hands in, to help facilitate, Maxence? Kind of, what's the number you've been working through so far?
Casually, we've done over 20 murals.
Wow.
Casually. You've got, as an entrepreneur, you have to understand your environment. And so post-COVID, it was one of those where I think every company had to do either a radical or changes altogether, internally, externally, structurally, staffing, retail space, whatever it was for your business. Everybody needed to adapt. And so our company was primarily 90% event production when we started 4 years ago, and about art sales, about 10%. We've pivoted now and worked hand in hand with a lot of developers, key developers in South Florida. And our business model is now, I'd say, 90% providing artwork in South Florida and about 10% event production.
That's impressive, right? I mean, you talk about COVID, and it's not just COVID, right? It happens all the time. Business cycles change, the environment changes, we get, hit upon by external forces, things change. So we got to pivot. So that's a pretty significant pivot. And I want to dig into that a little bit. But before I do, just kind of, how did you end up in this space? Did you ever expect this is what you were going to do? Or was this just a natural progression where like this is the zone you knew you were going to own? How'd you end up here?
Yeah, so I think the entrepreneurial spirit is something that you have within you. I think there's certain skill sets that you learn over time, like organization. I mean, that's a skill set, and you only get better and better at it. I think every opportunity I've gotten have been just positive contacts and connections, networking, meeting people, similar to our relationship, how we met in a just very positive function of which we shared common interests, common goals. I think when you align yourself with other entrepreneurs, other business savvy individuals, it allows you to elevate yourself and elevate your vision. I think the bigger you dream, the more vivid that dream becomes.
I love that, man. I might just steal that quote from you. I'll give you a little love though. I'll let it be known.
And the interesting location that Maxence was just mentioning that we met was the Evolve Networking, hosted by JB and the Doctor. So cheap plug. I love cheap plugs.
I like that. Evolve Networking. It was great. And it was at the Brightline station. Very effective. JB presented his personal story of how he got together with Big Al doesn't pay. Big Al doesn't pay. He doesn't pay. And was that his name?
It was Big John, but it's all good, man. The name's not the important part of the story.
He was big.
That's the most important part. He was big. He was big. He was tall. He had a message to deliver, and he knew that message, and he shared it every single day, and it made the bus driver want to better himself. And for those of you that don't know the story, I know I can give you the Cliff Notes.
They'll just have to show up at one of the events.
Yeah, that'll come to one of the events. I don't always tell that story, but I have told that story a number of times over the years. And the shocking thing about storytelling, I guess shocking, maybe not if you do it, it sticks with people, right? Just like you're remembering that story, and that event was months ago at this point. You're remembering that story, and good stories stick. And that's just a great story about assumptions and framing and how we look at life and the perspective that we carry into something. And so it's just a powerful story. So I'm glad it did stick. It's always nice when I hear that feedback.
I'm a big believer in keeping things simple and delivering a strong message. And I think the message overall from that really connected everyone. I think going into the space of being an entrepreneur and connecting with other business people and joining networking events, there's a social level and there's a networking level, right? Isn't that the point? So on the social spectrum, that's where like the drinks and the venue space and the glitz and the glamour, that's a social. But then the networking is where you actually do business, and you have to kind of like teeter that line of like, is it 50-50? Is it 70-30? Is it like, where are you going? And so I felt like, the welcome speech that you gave with a very satirical, comical, very easily digestible story had I think it fell on everyone's ears very nicely. And so although I don't remember the characters' names, I do remember the story, I do remember the message. And I think that connection is what brought us here today. And so I'm grateful to keep connecting, and I'm grateful, and I want to go to another involved networking. I want to hear another story.
We're getting there, man. Our goal's monthly. So if you're in South Florida, we're not quite monthly yet, but we're working towards it. So keep your eyes out and peeled for our social media content. We will have a lot of details on any other Evolve networking events that are coming up. We are really excited to continue just having absolutely amazing professionals get together, learn something, be intentional, and really level up their networking so they make better connections, right? The whole goal is to have that better return on investment with your time, because we don't have a lot of it as entrepreneurs. We're always stretched for time. And this is just our way of kind of, building out a community together where we feel like we can make a big difference compared to what's traditionally done. Right. And I've been to a ton of networking events. The doc's done a ton of these things, and too often it's purely social and there's not enough intention involved. And that doesn't really help. That doesn't help you achieve your goals as an entrepreneur. It needs to have a little bit of both.
And now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yeah. So
I'll take a shot at tequila. Take 2 shots of tequila, actually, please.
Nobody's saying we didn't have shots. We still know how to have a good time, It's just,
and that is our other thing that we do once a month, our Better Business Brewing, where we drink and talk. So if you want tequila, make sure you show up for that last Monday of every week or month. Sorry.
Yeah, last Monday of every week would be a weird day. I've never run across one of them before.
That's the tequila talking.
Yeah, that's the tequila. All right, so Max, let's go back to COVID, man, because you talked about the pivot. So you went from heavy event production, 90% event production, to 10% art sales, and now you flipped it on its head through COVID. I mean, at Radical. Any point where, seriously, that's a 180 basically. I mean, were you terrified, man? Were you kind of really concerned at this point in time? What was your response to having to go through that?
Response, I think it's trial and error is really what it is. Is understanding your scope of your strengths and honing in on that. And so if there's a strength in your business, water it, and not only water it, fertilize it, and not only fertilize it, give it sunshine. So that was a strength that I found through and through. You've got to adapt. And so us as being an art agency and supporting artists, we also want to support our community. So one of the big things that we also did is we're much more philanthropic. In a time where people had less, in a time where people could not be social, we decided to come up with creative ways to adapt. So one of our clients was a hotel, Ocean Hotel, and restrictions in hotels were very, very tough, even in South Florida during COVID times. And so we had a contract that was under play during COVID. Unfortunately, we could not, due to Florida statute and restrictions, we could not host events at the hotel. What did we do instead? we decided to host events on the outside of the hotel. And we did beach cleanups. Beach cleanups have absolutely nothing to do with my art agency, but it was a way to give back to our local community, clean our beaches, keep people outside, get a little bit of sunshine, get a little bit of fresh air, stop being in the office, stop being in the house all day. And you know what? Ultimately, be in your own pod, be in your own group, be with whoever you want to be with. And you guys are allowed to be outside and just clean the beach and be as free as you'd like. We started that idea mid-June, not this past June, but the June before. So what is that, June 2021? I'm really bad at math. This past June was 2022. June 2021.
If you listen to our last podcast, or one of our podcasts recently, we've had 56 weeks in the year. So
just throw me under the bus like that, huh?
I didn't say it was you.
Beyond, yeah, okay.
I did not say it was you. You chose to say it yourself.
It was like 2 weeks after having a newborn. I wasn't sleeping well. I kind of lost track of how many weeks are in a year. When you have a newborn, it feels like 98 weeks in a year. I mean,
days and nights kind of blend and kind of. Yeah, 56. Well, I'm all for more days in the week and all for more weeks in the year. I can't seem to find enough time in my day nowadays.
Well, if we have more than one Monday in a week, Trey and I might actually be able to do like a last Monday of the week live tequila drinking. That might be possible.
I'm down.
Can we have like a leap year party? Can we like plan out? Like, I don't know when the next leap year is, but I would love to throw just some kind of banger, like an incredible event. Full sensory, mixology, lights, camera, action, entertainment, and, leap year. Maybe have a couple frogs, people dress up as frogs and call it a leap year. And I don't know. I'm shooting from the hip here, but putting it out there for you guys. Next leap year, look for this guy.
When is the next leap year? Where are we at?
It runs on the same time as the election cycle, so I think we got a couple of years.
We got a couple. Well, that's time to plan.
Right.
Frog costumes aren't that hard to find, though, right? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles jumping around.
I'm all for event production. I think to continue answering your question with event production and art curation and adaptation, and giving back to our city. There's this notion that if you constantly give back, you'll receive. And no expectations, but that you will receive. And our agency, we hosted beach cleanups. That was a project that we started. And even though the contract has expired between us and the hotel, we have continued that path and have continued strengthening relationships with donors. This past June, the month of June is World Oceans Month. And we partnered up with Be Ocean as well as Fraser Yachts, Lafitte Advisors, Celsius Energy Drink. Those are delicious. We partnered up with them. They gave us several cases. We had about 100 people there, and it was great. About 25 people came to the yoga event. We had a yoga session. 25 people came to the fitness, and then about another 50 or so came to the beach cleanup. But in its entirety, we had 100 people that showed up. We even had a sustainable shopping experience at the hotel. So, I mean, it was a full day of between activities, beach cleanup, sustainable shopping, DJ at the pool. It was a full day of activities. That was for World Oceans Month. We got really good response from the community. The hotel was really happy. So it's great to partner up with your clients and kind of take your own company out of its own, trajectory. But as long as you're doing something that's like charity driven, that will some way, somehow just blend to just more opportunities. And I'm a big believer in, and I can give you another personal anecdote, but I'm a big believer in almost bringing two separate entities that have similar missions, that still want good, or they still want feedback, or they still want eyes on their business. And both of you just come together as one at some sort of collaborative effort, a beach cleanup, a networking event, a podcast. When two entities kind of come together, you really you blend your groups, right? You blend the people that I know, that we know, and it's creates a sense of harmony.
I was going to say it creates a little art. I was going to be on brand here for you, man.
And
I
that's
love
why
so
you get
much of
paid
what
the
you
big
said.
bucks, JB.
I know,
That's why you
right?
get paid the big bucks.
So much of what you said resonates with our messaging as coaches, and whether it's the tweak and experiment, whether it's the community aspect that you brought up, the collaboration and the ability to do more as a team than we can necessarily do as an individual. Even the charity side of things, which we've talked about a number of times on our podcast, and we've had some great guests discuss that. It should be said, we probably don't bring this up enough. We have a scholarship that we offer for deserving candidates that want to work with us, that are either from a place where they can't afford it, or are in a position where they're a minority or face some serious adversity. So we have some scholarships available out there as well for people, because we really believe in the giving back. And our feeling is, just, hey, you give out and you're going to get 10 times back. If your intention of giving out is just to give, it will come back.
I love that. I love that. Some of the projects that we've given include this beach cleanup. Post-COVID, we painted a elementary school called Virginia Schumann Young Montessori School in Broward County. It's an A school. It's a Montessori school. It's right in the heart of Fort Lauderdale, off of Broward Boulevard, as well as Federal, US 1. So it's a beautiful intersection of downtown Fort Lauderdale. I'm repeating myself at this point, but and it's crazy how life kind of works. It really is. Like, I got on a plane and I went to Chicago to go visit a friend from high school. It was during COVID times. Flights were like $38 round trip. Like, absurd. Like $38 a round trip. Are you kidding me? Flights should be that cheap all the time. Anyway, went to Chicago. On the way back home, there was a pretty girl on the plane sitting next to me. Of course, there's a seat that's missing, right? They sold like every other seat on the airplane. And ended up chit-chatting with her and said, hey, you're going back to Fort Lauderdale. I'm going back to Fort Lauderdale. What do you do? What industry are you in? What's your title? What do you do? Come to find out, she works for a paint company that provides commercial paint jobs for huge residential complexes, as well as, you name it, stadiums, civic centers.
Wow.
And they're very philanthropic. And from that seat, like that day that I sat with her, I jumped on a call with her boss. On that call, I was able to secure $20,000, which was a big ask. He had never seen me. He had never seen our credentials, never seen any references, did not know who we were, besides I was hitting on one of his employees. And it was one of those where we ended up securing $10K to paint the interior of the school, $10K to paint the exterior of the school. We worked with Broward Education Foundation, which is a 501c3 in direct partnership with the public school system. We gave $2,000 to BEF, Broward Education Foundation. The other $18K we used to paint 7 murals in the school, both interior and exterior. We painted one of the longest public art school murals. I'm a little tongue-tied there. It's 155 feet across by 30 feet high. It's the largest mural in a public art school. And then we also gave a check to the kids going back to school. We gave a check to the school, but the money went towards the art school and the art supplies in the art department. Art supplies in the art department for that school. I mean, it was incredible. We did a ribbon cutting. We had the mayor that came out, the mayor of Broward County, the mayor of Fort Lauderdale. We had Philip Dunlap, the head of the Broward County Arts and Cultural Division. We had Donna Haynes, who came out. She's works for the county, for the arts department, to facilitate the arts in all the school systems. We had great speakers that came out and supported the arts. That was one of our projects that we gave back to. There's been a number since then. We've worked with Abandoned Pet Rescue, Handy. Handy is another 501c3, helping abused, neglected, deferred youth. We just painted another mural for the YMCA. And these projects, we just keep giving and giving and giving. And it's one of those where more doors are opening up for us. And as altruistic and as intrinsic as everything is, the benefits have been very extrinsic, and everyone has been very, very, very giving to in return. And so that's my word. That's my word of advice is give, give, give. You know.
One of the things that just comes to mind, you talked about, hey, we gave back and we did this incredible thing, and now we have the attention of all these public figures and these people in really positions to help you grow as a business. And I think there's a lot of times that the nonprofit sector and the public sector kind of get ignored by businesses, right? The focus is on their clients only, but there is so much development and growth that can happen by working with nonprofits, by working within the public sector, that can really lead to incredible business down the road. And I have no doubt that the relationships you began and started to develop and probably have nourished, like you said earlier, watered, fertilized, and gave sunlight, are going to bring leaps and bounds to your business long term. And it's one of my favorite things about what you were talking about there is we can give back, we can do something amazing and foster incredible connections with other influential people. And that can help deliver long-term results for our business without intentionally just trying to grow our business, right? It will come naturally.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's nice to give back. It's interesting. I it's full circle for me. It really is. I went to school at Florida State University. I also went down here in South Florida at South Plantation High School. The high school was a magnet for Everglades restoration. I went to school at Florida State University for marine biology. And what am I doing now? I own an art agency. Absolutely obscure. But some way, somehow, I managed to now host beach cleanups that have really like a fundamental meaning in my heart. And give back to my local community where I was raised. And so in a way, I am still doing the same mission that I started in high school and college, but just kind of transitioned it to where I'm doing it for my company. Yeah, man, it's a pinch me, I'm dreaming opportunity that I'm at currently.
Well, and that is like the perfect full circle. I don't know that we've had a more clean full circle evolution from kind of where we started the conversation towards the end of the conversation. Because I kind of asked you, hey, in your background, what did you know you were going to be doing this? What influenced you? And here we kind of uncover all of a sudden. It's like, hey, did I always know I was going to be in art? No, but I always had, this exposure and this value system oriented around conservation and giving back and marine biology at the beaches. And here you are, and you get to combine something that you do in your business today with something that was an influence from early on in your life. And there's real power in that. That's really cool.
Did I finally answer your first question?
You may, but like perfect. I'm a big believer in going full circle when you're having a conversation and doing a presentation, right? Like that's something I harp on with people all the time, end where you start. And you just did that naturally, man. You're a pro. I love it.
Are you telling me it took 27 minutes to answer that first question? We're gonna have to extend this podcast, folks. We're gonna have to make a longer session.
We're gonna have to bring you back, dude.
We'll bring you on to Better Business Brewing, so then we can have that tequila.
That's right. Actually, I think you may have given us a bottle of rum or two. That we might need to pop open for Better Business Brewing if we have you on that as a thank you. And I'm not saying that you have to give us a bottle of alcohol to get on the podcast, but it might not hurt either. So if you happen to be listening or watching, no suggestions here, but I'm open to it.
And if you're any liquor company and or connoisseur, we accept sponsorship.
We're looking at you, Celsius, as well.
I'm a tequila advocate. So last night for dinner, I cooked for some friends. Had about 6 people there, and we cooked lamb chops, sautéed onions, and I made a beautiful salad for everybody, as well as couscous. But in the sautéed onions, I poured some mezcal.
Interesting.
And gave it this like smoky like,
yeah,
it was just dangerous. So yeah, I'm all for any sort of sponsorship.
We'll take it.
I'm all for it. I'd love that. I think that's a great, like a brand ambassador for Spirit Company. I think that's incredible. I think I've got these incredible coasters that I picked up from a restaurant in Denver. and they're laser cut. So it's like, I wish I had them on me. They're a circular coaster, as most coasters are. They could be square, I guess, or rectangular, but it's a coaster. And in the coaster, it's made of wood. It's laser etched. And it said, there was so many good questions. I have about 10 of them in my house. And every guest, I gave them one. I'm like, hey, pick one, pick one, pick one. And then we're all going to answer. And it's a nice game to kind of break the ice and get people's responses. And I lost my trail of thought. And
and one of the tequila.
One of the questions, mezcal, same but different. And one of the questions was, if money didn't matter, what would you do as a career or a job or anything that you would do in life? Or if money or time or intelligence, because sometimes you need a degree to be a rocket scientist, but like if you wanted to do anything you wanted in life, what would it be? So I asked that to you, gentlemen. If money and time and experience didn't matter, what would you want to be in life? I can answer. I can answer first. I can answer first. My answer was, I'd love to be studying primates and get into a beautiful forest with orangutans and just live there humbly with the orangutans and learn their language and pick up like sign language and be part of their tribe and help raise and educate and learn and love and make sure that they're protected and be an advocate for our brothers, so to speak. As simple as they are compared to us, they're also so smart and intelligent. And I think, if money, time, and experience and knowledge in mind, that'd be awesome.
I think I'd like to be one half of this dynamic duo of JB and the Doctor. I think that's what I would go with.
I thought you were going to say you wanted to be the orangutan for a second. I thought that's where you're going. I was like, well, that took me by surprise. I didn't expect
bringing
that.
it full circle, working in JB and the Doctor, I kind of work with an orangutan and monkeys myself. So,
wow.
On that note, before he can say anything else, so you want to let our audience know how they can reach you and where they would find you, so they can take part in those things?
Do I not get to answer the question? Are you just like not even letting me answer the question?
Dr. Dre, stop monkeying around. This is wow. This is still a work week. All right, it's Friday, but it's still a work week. All right, we're
I'm answering the question. I've answered the
question.
I was gonna say JB and the Doc, but now I'm feeling a little spicy. I was feeling a little spicy. I'd rather be an astronaut, an explorer. Have wanted to do that since I was a kid. Thought for sure I could get my way out there. I'm still kind of hopeful. By the time I'm like 70, 80, spaceflight will be like somewhat affordable for people, so I can at least pretend to be an astronaut for a day or something. That would be awesome. But I love exploration. So anything exploration wise, and it's Max said something you'll appreciate probably. For a long time, I wanted to be a marine biologist because I wanted to explore, the oceans, and there's just so much of them we don't understand. So I totally appreciate, man, that desire and some of what you're about. So that's really cool. All right, now, Doc, you can go ahead and finish and wrap up.
I'm showing immense self-control right now because I have a lot of jokes for all that you just said, but I digress. And Maxence, let us everybody know how you can get a hold of you.
Hey, everybody. My name is Maxence Doytier. You can get in contact with us on our website, 26north.com. 26 degrees north is the degree latitude of Fort Lauderdale. So we're a South Florida art agency based in Fort Lauderdale. So 26north.com. You can follow us on Instagram, 26north Productions, and check out a lot of the events that we host. Our website also includes community projects that we're involved in, as well as ways that we can collaborate, paint murals, mosaic tile murals, sculptures. These are new frontiers that our agency is starting to explore. And if you want to connect with me personally on a one-to-one level, I'm always here to offer advice, support, only as experienced as the 32 years of life that I've been on this planet, but I've got a lot to offer. And you can connect with me personally. My Instagram is run, dread, run. Run, dread, run.
Awesome.
That was my little song and dance.
Of course, you'll have to check out our YouTube channel to watch the beautiful acting job Maxence just did.
Yes. He's a natural at that.
I don't think I've ever done that before. I might trademark that.
You've coined it. You're good.
Fantastic. Well, Maxence, man, we really appreciate having you in the lab today. Thanks for joining us on the show. Super excited for this to launch for our listeners and our viewers. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for the opportunity. Looking forward to connecting with you soon.
Thanks so much. And of course, all the information will be in the show notes. So we will check it out there.
All right, Doc. A great conversation with Maxence. I really enjoyed what he had to say. I took a bunch of notes. What were your thoughts?
Always a good time with Maxence. Good dude. A lot of fun. Good messaging, right? Bring everything full circle. It's a lot of what we talk about with the Be Rich mindset. Giving back, helping others. So right on brand and always a good time.
Yeah, you know, he said so much that I could draw from. I think just one of my favorites was my response was just to tweak and experiment and find out what was going to work. You know, when I got hit with a change in how I had to run my business, it wasn't a full on red alert panic attack, you know, get real rigid. It was okay. Let's figure out what I need to do here and what'll work. And he came up with a great platform. And he's been able to really build that into something special and unique. And it's really, really pretty awesome. So loved having him on board and hope we get a chance to chat with him again down the road. Yeah.
And if you're local in South Florida, try to find some of the murals and take a picture of it and send it to us and we'll post it and share the love with you.
Yeah, that would be neat. All right, Doc, I think it's time for us to wrap. Once again, if you have joined us today and you are still watching or listening, do us a favor, like, subscribe, follow, share us with your friends, share us with your enemies. We don't care. We are here to spread the word and impact more people. With that said, as well, we do have a freebie. Doc just put the details down below. It's in the show notes if you are listening, but the 6 methods to make sure your business does not fail. We highlight some of the top reasons businesses fail and what you can do to make sure it's your competition and not you.
Also, you can always find us on all our social media at jbandthedoctor.com, jbandthedoctor, and on our website at jbandthedoctor.com. They all kind of go together, so they all make sense. And make sure you find us at our next Involve Networking. Always check the site also, where you will get the updates on when we're doing the next one coming to a town near you.
All right. With that, Doc, is it time for some tequila? We talked about it enough.
Let's do it.
All right. Later, everybody.
Peace out, yo.